Kabaziguruka and Kabaziguruka, and of course he's here to tell us what it means, the broader implication of the Supreme Court's ruling. Good evening to you, Counsel, and thank you for joining us. Good
evening. It's great to have me here tonight after a very long day. As you see, I'm not yet home. Even after court, we have to discuss the implications and the way forward. Okay, and so let's start from the beginning with, of course, a brief of the legal arguments that led to this ruling and what the Supreme Court decided today. Well, majorly, briefly, the matter was about the competence of the General Court Martial, the independence of the General Court Martial, and generally the jurisdiction of that court to try civilians. Okay. That was the general content. Okay. And so what did the Supreme Court decide today? As everyone knows right now, it's outlawed. Actually, it has been what we say discarded. That court is no longer existent at law, in structure. It is no longer in operation. Anything before that court has been set aside. Okay. From the composition to the jurisdiction and all powers that emanate from the UPDF Act. It has been saved to the extent that it can continue trying serving officers, but what was most interesting, that one of the issues that we did not canvass, the issue touching on whether it is even independent and impartial in as far as serving officers are concerned. And that came out loudly by the court. I think it was quite an issue to think about. It's not about civilians alone. The court has been very clear that everything about that court is unlawful, it is incompetent in as far as the composition is concerned. It is not independent in as far as the way it is established, the way it is appointed, because we find that no one has the capacity, no one has the legal background or capacity to try matters or to apply the law. And there are several other issues as you saw them. Okay, and so what then does this mean? Because you're saying that they have considered the General Court Martial null and void. What does it mean for those whose cases are still before the General Court or whose matters have been decided? Does it mean that it automatically overturns their past convictions? Well, those it will not apply retrospectively, but prospectively. That all matters that have been determined in finality are not going to be affected by this decision. But all matters, whether on appeal or review, they remain alive. Practically, the DPP is substituting that court. So all powers have been turned to the civil ordinary courts. And we believe that the files will be transferred soonest because it is an immediate decision. It takes immediate effect. What you will see is us following up to ensure that the illegality of continuing to hold any prisoners who are detained by the General Court Martial does not continue. It is ours to follow up, and we believe any further detention of any person who was detained on orders of the General Court Martial is void ab initio. It remains illegal, and the processes that are forthwith by the lawyers are to go and try to implement this. We were supposed to appear in the General Court Martial on Monday in the matter of the retired Colonel Dr. Kabaziguruka. And they did not even have the powers to sit. So there's nothing for them to convene on Monday, the 3rd of February. So these are more or less self-executing orders of court, and we believe the state, the DPP, will have to come in play immediately. Of course, there's some work for us to do in as far as some matters which are on appeal. The challenge is the appeal still that we have in that court cannot continue, but we have matters that we've referred to the Constitutional Court. We have matters of human rights that we've referred to the higher courts. We have several other petitions that will remain alive in as far as those that have been convicted are concerned, and all other matters. You realize that one of the peculiar issues, key issues in this matter, is that we had resilient clients, the Honorable Kabaziguruka and Dr. Kiza Besige, who refused to subject themselves to this court. We've been in this so much for so long. We've been in this, I think, my entire probably 19 years of practice. Since 2005.
Okay.
It has been a long story that cannot be really summarized.
Okay, so as you also give us your closing remarks finally, you did say that on Monday you were supposed to appear before the General Court Martial, but because of today's ruling, that will not happen. And so then what is the fate of Dr. Kiza Besige moving forward?
No. Immediately, his file has to be transferred.
Okay.
So for the DPP to establish whether the charges should continue. And the argument has been very clear all along that the charges could not stand any trial. It has been our main issue on charges. So I believe many of these charges will not stand the test of the civilian authority under the DPP.
Okay. Thank you so much, Councillor Sam. And a quick reminder on our poll question, we ask that you share your views on the Supreme Court decision outlawing the trial of civilians in the military courts. We'd like to hear from you, as you've heard from the lawyers and all the other human